live with Dani, yours truly. Got a lot that I am looking up and trying to pull together so that I can talk to you about it. Hopefully, you guys are doing well, taking a deep breath and making do in the world. So, if you are joining me on TikTok, I will do my absolute best to say hello when you get in here. What's up, Alex? Hey, Phantom. If you are joining me on YouTube, Substack, or Facebook, make sure that you speak in the comments so that I can greet you. What's up, Conchita and Merlot and Candy Kiss and Lisbeth? Let's see who else. Honeygram and Farah. Good to see you all. MG Brock, good to see you as well. Hello, 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 folks. Good to see you. What's up, Amy? Blue Nevada, good morning. What's up, Win Dixie and Veronica? Good to see you too. Hello, Peacekeeper. Linda, good morning. Nice to see you. What's up, Allie? Good to see you. Steffi G. Hey, Lenny. Good to see you as well. What's up, Tony? Hey, Cam. What's up, Doug? Hey, John. What's up, Tam Bam? Coolest mom ever. Good morning, Tara Love. Good to see you. What's up, Sharita and John and Chef Ryan, Carrie Morrison, Gemini. What's up, LB Donna? How is everyone? Y'all doing good? What's up, Gemini? What's up, DJ? Hey, Jen, the vet. Hey, Kimber. Good morning. Katzmandu, how are you? Hey, Sandra. Good morning. Whew. How is everybody? Y'all doing okay? What's up, Chelsea? Hello, Jane Ice. Good to see you as well. I want to talk a lot today about immigration, ICE, MacArthur Park, court cases. I still need to talk about Texas and things like that, but I'm just not there yet today. What's up, Grammy? Good to see you. Hey, B&T Creations. Good to see you as well. Hey, good morning, Laura. Good to see you. All right, folks, we're going to dive right into things. Hopefully you all are doing well and fantastic and all the things. What's up, Sexy San? Oh, my word. I wish I would quit lowering my own damn table with my knee. MacArthur Park was ridiculous, but we're going to talk about why go to MacArthur Park? Why go to a place where children are attending day camp? Because if you can find immigrant children, you can find immigrant parents. I think that hey, Marcia, I just am furious, quite frankly, about the willingness to traumatize children to meet an immigration quota that you set that doesn't exist, right? This is not normal behavior, and we need to not pretend that it is or lose sight of the fact that it isn't. And we need to be holding people to account. And I do want to have, good morning, Brandy. I do want to have a look at something that, good morning, Alice, that worked out. Okay, I'm looking at a lot of different things that are happening. Oh, so for those of you all who, let me just make sure. I need to make sure that this is going to air when I think it's going to air. Give me 1 second. The Friday recording will air Saturday at 9 a.m. ? Good morning, Tech Lady. All right, so let's dive right in. The military has already lost respect. I don't know that you can say is going to lose respect. I would say that they have lost respect. Hey, Cheryl. I would also say that Peak Hedseth is doing a dangerous job. Appreciate you, Cam, of taking military resources and military personnel away from actions that are much needed in order to protect the national security of the country, to do this immigration border patrol shit that actually isn't saving us from any threat at all. And so it's really, really dangerous. And I want to talk about that. I want to listen to something that Tammy Duckworth said about this very thing. And then I want to talk about the amount of money that has just been blown through under this organization while they're talking about waste, fraud, and abuse. Because I think it's incredibly important for people to know that. That's your Senator, Cam. Yeah. Everything about MacArthur Park is disturbing. Everything about it is disturbing. And it's not just disturbing. Um, it's disgusting. It is disgusting the way that this administration has first airing, then repeat over the weekend. Perfect. Okay, so let me go ahead and give you guys the info. All right, so I will be on State of the States with Joe Sudbay this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sirius Progress, Sirius XM Progress, channel 127. We are going to record it on Friday, and then they're going to air it Saturday morning, and then it will repeat over the weekend. So I'm going to be meeting with Joe, where we are going to talk about the American Reality Project that we are doing here with myself and my followers and my subscribers. We are going to be talking about the graphics and the stats and the information and kind of like what our ideas are about how to go from online engagement to offline activation, right? It'll be 9 a.m. Saturday morning, Tam Bam, and then it will repeat over the weekend. So Sirius XM Progress Radio, I'll be on State of the States with Joe Sudbay. We'll be talking a lot about Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia and New Jersey, because they have statewide elections this year. But we're also going to be talking about some of the other things and how they play into everything else, right? So I just want to confirm that with Joe before I went on about my business. So, and I need to pull up one more video. What's up, Marilyn? How are you? Hey, Kathy. Good to see you, dear friend. How's Jerry? What's up, Rhonda? Hey, Tracy. Good to see you guys. All right. So let me pull this up really quickly so that we can get down to the nitty gritty, right? So can we talk about what's been going on with down in Yemen with the Houthis and the United States military, and what Hegseth has done or not done, so that we can kind of get like I don't even know what to say about it, because so I realized a lot of the things. So I understand that when we take Marines, of all people, when we take Marines and you stick them down to do immigration shit, right? I know that that's like crazy. And I know that that is taking Marines away from important work that they could be doing to ensure national security. I get all of that, right? And there were things that I did not realize that we had handled so poorly since the release of classified information via Signal Chat, not just the one that the journalist was in, but also with Pete Hegseth's wife, who does not have who doesn't have a security clearance, right? After that, even understand the things that he has done even more so, that is ridiculously dangerous, sad. How can I say this? It's reckless. Let me say it that way. It's reckless. And so I definitely want to talk about those things. So where should we start? I'm open to starting like right at the top with ICE and immigration and working our way down, or we can start with Pete if you want to, and dig right in. Good morning, Jeremiah. Hey, good morning, Zoa. Hey, Angie. It's, tell me what you guys really want to talk about, because I will tell you this. I listen to Pete. Yeah. Good morning, Firerider. Respectful you. Do you realize you're on TikTok, right? I do, Jude. And do you realize that you're on MySpace in TikTok, which means if you can't be respectful, right, then you'll be muted or booted from the live. Yeah. So TikTok doesn't mean be disrespectful or be an asshole. That's not what it means at all. So you get to choose how you behave, and it's entirely up to you, just so that you understand exactly how we do things right here. I don't even know who Daddy Swags is. No, Marsha, I'm not. Hey, Stacey, what's up? Marsha asked me if I was concerned about them doing something with midterms, and the answer is no, I'm not at all. And what I would tell people is stop saying things like that. Stop even thinking about things like that, because it's not something that occurs, right? Listen, folks, I think about the people that are spinning their wheels and spending so much time thinking about, oh, okay, Jeremiah, awesome. Who are thinking about potential things like that. And I just think, gosh, what could we be accomplishing if we put all of that energy into making things happen, right? And winning the midterm elections and things like that, right? So that's just where I focus. So yeah, if you start a question for me that says, "Are you scared?" that my answer is going to be no, because I don't spend time getting scared about this mess. I just don't. I don't have the bandwidth, and I don't have the privilege of sitting around and being scared about these things. For me, quite frankly, this government's always been kind of scary. The country's always been kind of scary. Maybe that's my PTSD, but I'm just saying. So, so no, so no, I don't. You know what I mean? So there you go. There's that. All right. So, I want to review. Just saying, Cam, right? Um, I'm Malik. We will do more than survive till midterms, and midterms isn't the only thing that is happening, right? So here's one thing that I just want you all to hear the level of absolute negative thing. Where somebody else said we won't survive till midterms. Of course we will. Of course we will. Like there's no big boom boom gonna happen that's good that just is gonna flatten the entire plant. Like that's not, of course we will. Hey Carol. And not only that, but we will do more than just survive until midterms. Right. So I don't know if you all are tracking these court cases, but you should. You should, because for all the things that the Trump administration says they are doing, and for all the things that they would like for you to believe that they are doing, there are so many things. There are so many things that they aren't doing, that they just put it out into the media. They just put it out there into the ether, and people go, "Oh no, it's so horrible," right? Let me tell you, y'all, they're doing such a piss poor job. They're doing such a piss poor job of rounding up immigrants. They're having to take away legal status to try to find people to deport. That's how, like, these people aren't geniuses. They're not very well equipped for the positions that they are in. They're just doing a shitty job, right? So I think it's important that we just kind of level set, you know what I mean? And not get so riled up and worked up about things, right? So just saying. So if you are new, let me just go ahead and level set for everybody. If you're new to my live, do me a favor, put a 1 in the comments. Oh, thanks. And if you are new to my live and to my space, please put a 1 in the comments for me. That would be amazing, so that I can help you out. Welcome, Laura. Welcome, Mama Leslie. Good to see new folks coming up in here. Good. Welcome, Lauren. All right. So check it out, folks. Yeah, just kidding, Mr. Barrios. Definitely not. All right. So let me just say this to you all. Okay. So number one, I ask for you to be respectful in this space. That's it. It's not hard. Just be respectful. Okay. Number two, don't use slurs of any kind. If you use a slur in my live, you will be muted or booted from my live. Just that simple. I don't care. Yeah, Nico. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on or what political party you belong to. I don't do slurs in this space. Okay. Number three, don't spam the comments. If you've got something to say it one time, even twice, but don't say the same thing over and over and over again. Right. And then number four, don't type in all caps, because that is reserved for my moderators and my folks that are vision impaired. So those are four very simple, guardrails for this conversation. And as long as you can adhere to those and behave like an adult, right, then we'll get along just fine. If not, I might in fact max your energy. And then, it'll be what it'll be. All right. Now, if you've got something that you want to discuss with me, if you think that I'm wrong about something, if you have something you want to add to the conversation, if you want to have either dialogue or discourse, you are more than welcome to join the panel and have a conversation with me. All right. I'm also going to tell you I would highly recommend that you be equipped with facts and sources for your claims, because we do that in this space as well. We do facts over feelings all day, every day of the week. So, with all of that said, let's get into the nitty gritty, and let's be about the business of talking about the things of the day. All right. So before I dive into Hegseth, I'm going to take a peek right over here and check on a little bit of the news of the morning. Oh. All right. Good morning, Cheryl. Yep, we talked about MacArthur Park. We're going to dig into it in just a second. Let me see what we got in here. Hey, Linda. Hey, Facts people. Welcome. Thanks, Facts people, for waiting. What's up, Donoski? Hey, John Wiggins. What's up, Flying Nana? Hi, Facts people. I love you back. Good to see you all. So I want to share with you all kind of some new things that are happening. It's really important with all the talk about Iran. We talked about this yesterday, and the need for us to keep our eyes on Palestine, right? Hey, Maureen, how are you? What's up, Donoski? Mary Shaw, good to see you as well. Hey, Courtney. Yep, and we've got that too, Kathy. I need to show you the graphics that are done and available as well. So, okay, so Gemini. You've got more than enough followers. Why don't you go ahead and request to come up to the panel? You've got your settings so that I can't bring you up to the panel. So why don't you come on up and request? Hit that little box right there that says request and request to join the panel. And let's talk about it. Gemini, I need you to not be a keyboard warrior. Don't be a keyboard warrior. Be brave. Come join the panel, Gemini. I just want to go ahead and deal with you and be done with it. Let's do that. Where you at, Gemini? Come on, you got like 6,000 followers. Pop on up here. Ready. I just want to go ahead and take care of the light work before we dig into the facts. Can we do that? What's up, Teacup? I'm a little spicy. Where are you at? It looks like you went away. Yeah, I see it's not happening, right? Okay. So this is the thing, folks, right? If you come in here, yap, yappity yap, and them little jaws of yours, right? I'm going to hold you to account, and I'm going to ask you to join the panel and to talk about the things that you're saying about in the comments. And the reason why is this: there are several hundred people that are in this live at this point in time, and those people read the bullshit that you're saying in the comments. And so it's my responsibility to check your misinformation when you bring it to this live. Like, that's my job. That's my responsibility to do. All right. Now, I think it's really important for people to understand that when it comes to the U.S. inflation rate, if you look at September of 2024, almost a year ago, it was 2.44%. At the end of May, it was 2.35%. So, Gemini, when you talk to me about inflation is now low, inflation has been fucking low. So just so you know, inflation has been fine thanks to Joe Biden and everything that Joe Biden put in place during his administration. Okay. So just so that we are aware of that. The biscuits are in the Ziploc bag, son, if you want to make you one. Okay. So, yeah, go ahead. So I'm not entertaining you when you say, oh, this is now this and this is now that. By the way, my gas is the same as it was in September, October of last year. So I don't want to hear anything about inflation and gas, because those things are the same. Here's what I want you to answer for me, Gemini. How much are you paying for fucking eggs? Yeah, girl. Don, will you help her find the chips? How much are you paying for eggs, Joe? Because my eggs are the same as they were before the election. Are y'all's eggs any different? Because my gas and inflation was good under Biden, and they're the same. Yes, Yari, about 20 minutes ago. Huh? Dominic's going to get them for you. What? You want me to tell them? Oh, Mila wants you all to know that she got boo-boos yesterday. So yesterday, when Mila was running over to my house, she tripped and fell, and she kind of got a little abrasion on her knees and on her elbow. And so she said, I want you to tell my friends that I have a boo-boo. Good morning. There you go. Oh, here, you want me to open them for you? So I'm telling y'all, this is an Oscar waiting to happen. This is an Oscar waiting to happen, y'all. Listen, we cleaned them jokers off and did Neosporin and big old Band-Aids and all the things. Mila, they said, oh, they hope you feel better, okay? Right. Yeah. So I just want to say this. When people come in and they want to talk about inflation and they want to talk about gas, inflation and gas were down under Joe Biden. What I want you to do is talk to me about your eggs, right? Because that's what you were so concerned about prior to the election. And by the way, we don't even have the bird flu happening, right? Right. Eggs are still $8 a damn a dozen, right? $6 a dozen, $7 a dozen, any of those things, either day before 10 or so I'm just saying, I don't want to hear that nonsense because it's just not applicable. Yes, ma'am, you can. Yes, I knew as soon as she was coming, she was going to ask me for what her sister has. Okay, so good morning, Rebecca Littlebird. And so listen, absolutely, guys, farmers markets are your friend. All of those types of things are things that you can do to help out your local farmers as well as help out your wallet. Okay. But I'm just going to tell you again, if you come in here with that craziness, folks, I'm going to check you. Okay. So, yes, baby. Yes, ma'am. It's fine with me, whatever. Okay. So I want to tell you all something that bothers my soul. We talked about it briefly yesterday and I want to talk about it again this morning. Okay. Yeah, so they're the same for me down in the South. I bought some yesterday and it was $6 a dozen. So, all right. So let me just say this. How many of you guys are still paying attention to what's happening in Gaza? Because I think with everything that's happening in Iran and happening with the Houthis and with Israel, I think that, people have kind of turned their head a little bit. And not been looking at Gaza. And we talked about it yesterday, and I want to talk about it again today. And the reason why I definitely want to talk about it today is because of something that's called a ring of fire. Israel, quote unquote, attacked a school that was, quote, sheltering kids who've nowhere to go. How many of you all know that? So apparently there have been 80 people. What? The IRS says that churches can endorse political candidates without losing their nonprofit status. Let me get to that in just a second. Sorry, the news that I got a little notification that came over. Fuck them. Yeah, no, I'm here to tell you right now. Yeah, it literally just came across. So, all right. So, okay. So let me just say this. So Israeli attacks on Gaza have unalived nearly 80 people since dawn, right? So the UK is opposing Gaza's displacement plan and has warned of measures against Israel if they do not agree to a ceasefire. So I think that that's going to be really important. But let me open this up because this really does bother me about the school. Hold on for 1 second. Oops. I put too many O's. Hold on, guys. Where did it go? Um, yeah. So the headline on Al Jazeera, and I'll just show you all the pictures if you are ready. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Let me show you this. Let me pull it down here for you guys to be able to see. What's up, Jessica Simone? How be you? Hey, Tori. All right. There you go. Yes, thank you, Sandy. So I just want to show you the image of what I'm looking at this morning on Al Jazeera, just so that you see it and you know where we're going. Folks, listen. Um, this is a horrible, horrible time that we are in when it comes to Israel, when it comes to the United States of America, when it comes to attacks on spaces where children are, right? What ICE did yesterday in McCarthy Park, is absolutely disgusting and inexcusable. And here's the thing that I'm going to say to you is if you are somebody who supports what ICE is doing when it comes to terrorizing children who are at a day camp, I don't want to hear the claim that you are a Christian or that, you believe in Jesus and God is love. I just don't want to hear it. Did I say McCarthy? I think I said McCarthy and then I said MacArthur. I don't know what I just said. Agreed, Chelsea. Agreed. Yes, you're on Al Jazeera. Yeah, the photos are awful. And so I have to be careful what I show on TikTok, as you all know. Um, and it's important that people kind of dig in and look at the images that are taken. So I go to I do Al Jazeera, I do BBC, of course I'll do NPR, but there's several others that are international news that I prefer. It's crazy, but I prefer international news to much of the United States mainstream news at this point. Things that I do want to talk about today is the I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars that Pete Hegseth has gone through in the last 6 to 8 weeks. So, are you all aware of what we have lost when it comes to the Houthis? So, Al Jazeera is one, Jessica Simone. BBC is another. There's another one out of um, give me a second. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. I can't think of the name of the other one right now. Somebody tell me the other UK. There's another. Reuters is okay. Yeah, I know about Democracy Now. Here's the thing. I also know that those are just they're gonna have a heavy slant too. Democracy Now is gonna be a slant, and yeah, BBC is one, but there's another one. I do like Guardian 100%, and believe it or not, I like the New Republic. I like the New Republic, and I like the Guardian as well. Have you guys ever? If you all remember, the New Republic is one of the first media organizations that actually printed the introduction to Kevin Roberts' book that was written by J.D. Vance. How many of you all, I know that if you've been following me for a long time, you know this information, but how many of you all have not read the foreword that J.D. Vance wrote for Kevin Roberts' book? And Kevin Roberts is the former president of the Heritage Foundation. How many of you guys haven't? NASA, you haven't? You haven't, Shelley? What about over on YouTube and Facebook? How many of you all are not aware of it? I know it's probably ingrained in your MD Brock. Yeah. Lisa, what are you talking about? What's happening right now? You haven't read it, Tisha? Okay, give me a second, folks. I got you. So one of the reasons that I like the Jassy, I don't recommend buying it. I have a link to where you can read the PDF of the book. And it's in my link tree. You have not, Hector? Okay, so let's talk about this for just a moment. Okay, and then I promise we're going to get through all the things. And somebody keep a clock on me. I have approximately 2 hours, maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes from this moment, from this time. Okay, before I have to take the kids to physical therapy. Yes. Yep. And Sandy Jabber was on yesterday and did a great job of doing that as well. If I have somebody that can send Jabber a message and say to Jabber if he has time and he wants to pop in here, we are going to talk a little bit about the difference between Israel today and the biblical Israel and the fact that they are not the same places. Matter of fact, Israel sometimes is referred to as people, as a place, right? And like there's different meanings behind the word Israel, right? And they are oh, I love that beach bum. And so those things are different. And geographically speaking, the Israel today is not located where the Israel in biblical times was even located. They are not in one and of the same. They are not. And so when you go to interpret that, you're supposed to support Israel, it doesn't mean the quote unquote nation, and it doesn't mean the political stance of a country. That's not what it means when we talk about supporting Israel. And it's really important for people to be able to draw this distinctions from those things. Okay. Okay. No problem, Sandy. The other piece of it is this too, right? I don't think any particular country or people get a pass if what they are doing violates the teachings and principles of Jesus Christ. So let me start with that. Even if Israel was geographically in the same place that it was in the Bible, even though it's not, even if it was, that still would not supersede Jesus's instructions and his commandments, right? The greatest commandment being love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, right? And to love thy neighbor as thyself. Those are the two. And he said those two actually fulfill all the commandments in just those two things. So even if geographically that's what we were talking about, that is superseded by when we talk about what Jesus told us to do. This Israel was created in 1948, correct? This Israel was created in 1948. It's not the same Israel. And in the Bible, when it talks about Israel, there are 12 tribes of Israel that they talk about. It's very different than what exists today. So, and let me also say this. Even with regard to all of that, what's up, River Ray? What's up, John? Even with regard to all of that, we do not use one individual religion to justify the actions of this country. We don't do that. I don't care if you're a United States senator, if you're a congressperson, if you're the Secretary of Defense, if you're the President of the United States, and you are a Christian. You do not get to use your biblical belief in supporting supporting Israel's based on the Old Testament as justification for what this country does. Because we don't do what your faith believes, because you don't get to disregard the faith of everyone else. That is why we don't put religion into politics. That's why there should be a separation of church and state. That is why this should not be a thing, period, right? And so it's important for us to just unpack all of those things. So how many of you all are, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, how many of you all identify as a Christian? Let me ask that question first. How many of you all would identify as a Christian, as someone who practices the Christian religion? How many of you? What's up, Carla? Okay. Now, so I'm used to, but not anymore. Eugene says you do. Okay. So now let me ask you this question. How many of you all identify as a Christian that believes in the blind support of Israel? How many of you identify as a Christian that supports the action that Israel is taking right now? If let me put it a different way because people have different things up in there. So how many of you all identify, if you identify as a Christian that supports what Israel is doing today, then I would love to chat with you if that's you. Deborah says not me. Marsha, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. What you got for me?
That was actually an accident. I apologize.
No worries. I got you. No problem. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Thanks. All right. So you all say you don't support that at all. So how do you? So let me ask you this because this is a real question. So how many of you all that consider yourselves to be Christians don't support what Israel is doing, and you have contacted your GOP representatives and shared that with them? How many of you all have used your Christianity to speak to your Christian representatives and admonish them about the misuse of religion in government? How many of you all have done that? And how many of you all have said on your pages, within your communities, within your neighborhoods, within your networks, within your social medias, right? How many of you have taken this stance publicly and said to your friends, hey, listen, and specifically addressing the misuse of Christianity? Yes, Van, it would be happening because it's been happening for dozens of years before the most recent hostages were taken. So the answer to that question is yes. Yeah, I'm aware, Chuck, that Israel could be a person, land, or nation. I talked about that just a minute ago when I first started talking about Israel. But right now, what we are specifically talking about is Israel, the nation. Right now, that's what we're referring to. Correct. He absolutely did. Right. Yeah, but it's not about fighting religion. So here's the reason why I'm asking this question is because remember when I said if you belong to the group that is doing the oppressing, if you belong to the group that is doing the harm, that it is your responsibility to check that group. So if you identify as Christian, then it is your responsibility to check the other Christians, to check the other believers for misusing the religion in which you participate. Right? We talk about this often. Okay. So, y'all, Jessica's not real. Jessica has 2 followers and is following 5 people. So if Jessica wants to come up here on this panel and engage in the conversation with me, then she can do so. Other than that, don't engage. But Tracy, so let me ask you about this. God, I wish you were over here so that I could bring you on the panel. Okay. And the reason why I wish I could is because people start to make this distinction. They'll say Christianity today has been diluted. But is it just Christianity of today? Is it just the Christianity of today? Or has not Christianity historically been used for things like what Israel is doing? Or for, chattel slavery in this country? Historically speaking, it's not just a Christianity today type of thing, right? But Sandra, the law no longer exists. So if you believe that Jesus Christ came to deliver you from sin, Jesus Christ specifically said, you are no longer under the law. So when you say that, you believe it's not the same Israel, but as a Christian, you believe it's the same covenant, that doesn't matter, because you said the people have changed, but the law is the same, but we're no longer under the law, right? Because that's what Jesus said. So the law of the Old Testament no longer applies. So are we following the law of the Old Testament, or are we following the grace, mercy, and salvation of Jesus Christ? Which one is it? Van, if you would like to come talk to me, join the panel. That's what you can do. Hold on, let me get you lunch. What? Yeah. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Do you all understand what I'm saying about the differences in these things? That's what I said. Van Essa has 2 followers and is following 5 people. That's why I said ignore them unless they choose to get on the panel. So this is the question that I'm asking. And this is the thing that sometimes really, really bothers me when I hear people talking about Christianity, but it's contradicting information, right? And here's the reason why I say that. I hear Christians all the time that blame things on the devil. How many times do we hear people blaming the devil for things? Because I hear it a lot. God, the devil is busy and the devil just be out there wreaking havoc. And I hear it all the time, right? So this is my question. Did Jesus kick the devil's ass and lock him away, or did he not? I'm just wondering, did Jesus defeat the devil, or did he not? Did Jesus give you dominion over the earth, or did he not? Are you blaming the devil for your own behavior, for your own indulgence in the things that you find gratification in? You don't get to have it both ways. You can't say that Jesus defeated the devil, right, and gave us dominion over the earth and all the things, and then blame every bad thing on the devil. Which one is it? I'm just asking. And I am open to have this conversation with anybody that wants to. But these are real questions that I have, especially because I am very well versed in the Bible and in Jesus, in law and in grace. So which one is it going to be? Because we don't live under the law. Right? Yes, no, maybe. Just checking for all my Christians out there. You say I'm twisting up your brain now? But do you want to know why? Do you want to know how I get to this place? Because you're looking at someone who's examined all of these things. You're looking at someone who has said, what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And what about that? Because you know how, when we say we have to work out our faith for ourselves, I'm someone who's done that. So when I hear things that I used to say, and I know the place from where they come from, then I'm going to bring it out because I want you to work it out for yourself. Oh, thanks. And I appreciate that. Right? Well, I guess you're going to keep wondering how I would react, Van, because I'm never going to answer you until you get your ass in the box. So just stay on down there and keep wondering. switching to YouTube on TV so you can listen while you're cleaning. Love that. God called the Jews a stiff-necked type of people. He did not say they was righteous or up the right reason or upright. The only reason they are favored is because of Abraham's obedience. And so let me just ask you this. Do we really believe, right, Allie, do we really believe that God has favorites? I want to ask this question for real talk. Does God have favorites? Because people really will say that Israel favors that God favors the Israelites. Really, does God have favorites? What makes one group of people better than the other? Because I don't see. Let me just say this to y'all. If God has favorites, then God's a bit of an asshole, right? That's not a thing. It's not a thing. Like, I'm just saying. This is when, so things that I think is, and things that I believe just are incredible, right? I believe that, why have they been persecuted forever? Who, Deb? Who has been persecuted forever? Because I can name a lot of people that have been persecuted forever. You ever been to Africa, Deb? I can name a lot of people that have been persecuted forever, besides just people who are Israelites. Do we really want to talk about people being persecuted forever? Do we? Because they're not the only people, and Jews don't just live in Israel. Let me say this again. Israel isn't the only place where Jewish people live. So again, this is the ideology and the history that we have been taught that we have to get comfortable questioning. So Sandra, here's what I love. You just came back and you said, no, you don't believe God has favorites. But if we go right back up to your statement 3 minutes ago, was God called the Jews a stiff-necked type of people. He did not say they was righteous or upright. The only reason they are favored is because of Abraham's obedience. But then when we question that, right, because that's what we've been taught. We've been taught that God favors the Israelites. But then when we question it, it's like, well, does God really have favorites? Then it was like, no, I don't believe he has favorites. Okay, well, you see what I'm saying? When people say that the Jews have been persecuted forever, and so have many other groups of people. So have indigenous people here in the United States. So have indigenous people in Australia, the Aboriginals. There are many different groups of people around the world that have been persecuted forever. They don't own that, right? Indigenous folks in Canada as well, right? So that doesn't only, right? Say it again, Tracy Adams. God has no respect of person. Jews and Greeks are all the same, or the Jews and the Gentiles, right? So this is the part where we really have to, start to have these types of conversations to hash this out. Hector says, God does not have favorites. Christians or Jews aren't favored above anyone else. Being a believer just means that you have more responsibility to care for your fellow man. Here's my thing, Hector. I don't believe that you have more responsibility. I don't believe that you have any more responsibility than anybody else. I think we all have the same responsibility to care for each other. because I know a lot of non-believers that do a fantastic job of caring for their fellow man. Matter of fact, I know some non-believers that care for their fellow man better than believers that I know. We have to watch this language that makes us elevate ourselves over other people. Even just that little distinction, Hector, that you just made, that little distinction was a way of just cranking up Christians a little bit better. We have a greater responsibility to care for our fellow man. No, you don't. You have the same responsibility as everybody else. Do you see how just like easily it slips into our conversations? Do you see how easily it just like spews right out of our mouth? Listen, and we do it as Americans do it, Christians do it, right? People always do it, and they speak in a way that elevates themselves. That ain't nothing but ego. That is nothing but ego. Right? Ah, I love it. My new friend is here. Hey, Jabber.
Hey, Dani, how are you?
I am fantastic. I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed it," because I was telling him about you being with us yesterday.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was great. It was much needed for me, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. I can't wait for us to get together and do a podcast episode. So one of the things
I just got your message.
Okay, awesome. So one of the things that we were talking about, somebody asked me today to talk about, the distinction, the fact that the Israel of today is not the Israel mentioned in the Bible, referred to in the Bible, that they're very different geographically. There's different, and that, and it could just be very, so Israel can refer to people, land, or a nation, and they're not the same things. And I think that this idea, like, even, I don't know if did you see the Ted Cruz interview with Tucker Carlson?
Oh boy, talk about a broken clock being right twice a day. Now we have to listen to Candace and Tucker and what now, Rogan? Oh, good God.
Yes.
Stuff.
Yeah.
They're all broken clocks, folks.
Yes.
Okay, they're broken clocks. Okay.
Things as, and this is what I said, things not on my bingo card for 2025, agreeing with Tucker or Candace or Joe.
Oh my gosh. I mean, and I have to say, Candace has been 2024 and 2025.
Yes.
And the thing is, I always knew the woman had a brain.
Yes.
I could not fathom why she was using her brain to weaponize it against her own people. I mean, obviously somebody was either paying her a lot of money, whatever. Well, that's for another time.
Well, yeah, but it started, you know why it started, right? Do you know?
She was progressive or something, and then remind me.
She had a blog on the internet. It was 360 something, Wired 360 or whatever, where she absolutely was, her and a few other people that were doing different articles and conversations and absolutely dragging Trump through the mud. And she was starting to gain traction. And then literally after he announced, miraculously, she just flipped, and all of a sudden she's never experienced racism. She's totally a conservative. She's whatever. And then her site, now you can still find it on the Wayback Machine. You can find her old site on the Wayback Machine, but it's a real thing. And then when she was 18 years old, just so everyone knows, when she was 18 years old, the NAACP, on behalf of Candace Owens, sued the parents in her school district, 5 boys in her school district. I think one of the boys' daddy was like a superintendent or a mayor or something. Anyway, the NAACP won Candace Owens $37,500 because they were racially harassing her in her school system.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Well, more on that later, folks.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so the thing with it, all right, here's the thing. I'm still, as far as like being able to speak articulately off the cuff about the biblical stuff, I'm going to defer to some of the other Palestinian creators, because, so the short answer to your question is yes, the Jews of yesteryear, of millennia, are not Israel of then is not the Israel of now. There were three types of Jews. There were Messianic Jews. There were oh God, yeah. See, I'm going to butcher this a little bit, so I don't want to speak because I don't want to speak on it too much because I'm not an authority.
Gotcha.
And unlike the other side, I want to be completely transparent.
Yep.
But there are creators that I can recommend. One of them is he goes live every single day. Okay, and he has amazing mods. His name is Lal, Lal. You can find him. He is the son of what? His mother is, I think, Jewish. He's Palestinian, like Jewish and Christian. I mean, it's like he covers, and he is a biblical wizard. He understands all this. I'm on Lal's. I go to Lal's lives just to listen and or to be on the panel all the time. Mm-hmm. Every time he starts talking about this stuff, a little more of it sinks in because he's just like, he is an encyclopedia of this stuff. And so I highly recommend that you check out his live. He runs it. He has great mods who will step in and run it. Every penny that he gets on his live goes to people in Gaza. So, and he's just incredible. And so he's just a wizard. He's a walking encyclopedia of all that stuff. So I highly recommend you check him out. Okay. You can find him online any time of day. He does work. So that's why he will leave occasionally, but he leaves the live up. And I'm a Taurus, Linda. I'm a cusp Aries Taurus, April 21. Believe it or not, that is the founding of Rome.
You are. So I'm a Taurus too, but I'm a full-blown Taurus.
Nice.
You're May? Yeah, May 12th. I'm dead center. Yes, 100%.
There you go.
Yeah. So Lal is one.
Yeah, and I know he has something else in his handle, so I have to find out. Yeah. Oh, nice. Your mom's birthday. It is a pretty cool birthday. Of course, it's the day after Mustache Man, but that's okay. It's also the day after Weed Day. Okay, so
yes.
Yeah, and Israel often refers to Jacob in the people of Israel, the people of Jacob. So yeah, there's there's a lot there that is really I'm trying to get very well versed in how to talk about it off the cuff. It takes a lot of repetition. I say to people all the time, my 3 R's: read, reflect, and rehearse.
Yes, 100%.
Rehearse, right?
Yes.
I'm especially disturbed this morning. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have another?
No. Are you going to talk about the school?
The school.
Yeah. When I went to Al Jazeera, the first thing I saw this morning was that Israel had attacked a school, and they said it was where there were children that didn't have anywhere else. They were sheltering children there that didn't have anywhere else to go. But it was on Al Jazeera first thing this morning when I went and looked.
Yeah, I didn't see the thing about the school.
Gotcha.
I was a little distracted by a particular creator who grew up a couple of towns over from me. She has apparently a PhD in education, but apparently she's a vile, vicious Zionist who just will not let the grape allegations go away. And unfortunately, there now is this Dani project who has released a report today. So now we have to go over this again and talk to these people about what constitutes evidence, what constitutes, fact and fiction, what it means to have an investigation, what the term reasonable grounds means, which, by the way, I wanted to address yesterday, but I veered off, so I'm glad we can talk about this.
Cool. For
a quick moment, I want to pivot.
Okay.
When the UN publishes a report, and Electronic Intifada has multiple exhaustive, detailed reports about the SA narrative that has been pushed since day one. Okay.
The electronic what?
The sexual assault and sexual violence that they allegedly H group used against the hostages and or the people at the Nova Festival, women at the Nova Festival.
Yeah, you said a site, and so I was wondering what site you said.
So the site is Electronic Intifada.
Okay.
Not to be confused with Infatada, which some clown on the news the other day said, and we had all kinds of jokes. Mine was globalized the egg frittata. But the word is Intifada.
I got it.
Okay, Warner. So yeah, let me pull back here for a second. So here's the thing. On October 7th, as you know, as Dani well knows, and if any of you are Black, you will know this, and if you are YT, you should know this, and you should look more into it. One of the legacies of dehumanization of Black people in this country is the idea that they are rapists, that the men are rapists, that they assault women, right? The entire story of the movie Birth of a Nation,
Yep.
which Woodrow Wilson screened at the White House, is that exact plot. And it's like 3 hours of that, okay? Imagine watching 3 hours of that in the White House with Woodrow Wilson, yes, the so-called progressive who founded the League of Nations. So, it culminated, of course, it really didn't come, but at a point it culminated in the unaliving, the brutal unaliving of Emmett Till, because he was accused of, he looked sideways, he smiled at a YT woman who eventually admitted before her unaliving. Right? I mean, she spent 50 years with this secret, and he was brutally attacked and unalived. His mother insisted on Mamie Till, on an open casket so that people could see it.
Yep.
And it's one of the most enduring, unfortunately, legacies of the civil rights movement and 400-year history of dehumanizing Black men. Now, that same strategy has been employed in the pushing of this narrative that there was mass rape, systematic rape on October 7th. Now, it requires a tremendous amount of discipline, because the last thing you ever want to be is called a rape denier, right?
Yep.
No cishet man, okay, YT man, whose friends all have, daughters. Like, the last thing I would ever want is to incorrectly or inaccurately debunk or claim that rape allegations were lies.
Right.
Now, we, of course, should believe all women, and this is a common thing that they're using, we should believe all women except when it comes to Israel. Now, believe all women means, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you are a woman, and I'm happy to hear this from the women in the audience, but believing all women is when they tell you something happened, okay, like that, you believe them. And then, based on your trust that you are getting something that is factual, right? The logical next step is to investigate what happened, told you, and then make sure that it went down that way. Because as we know, forget the fact that there have been occasional, the Rolling Stone thing, or forget that. That's not even it. It's just that we know that psychologically speaking, like, memories, even eyewitness testimony, right? I mean, we don't have to go through all this. We know that is not always reliable, and so you have to investigate, because the human mind and the human brain and memories are very fickle. And by the way, it's not to deny that there is a serious problem with SA and rape in this country on college campuses, among friends, couples, dating. Like, we know that. However, when it is when you bring it to the criminal justice system, you have to make sure that you are doing your due diligence, because you want to confirm it so that nobody can deny it.
Yes.
You want to make sure that it is undeniable, right?
Yes.
So when October 7th, there's a concept called conflict-related sexual violence, okay? I need my coffee. CRSV.
Yes.
Right? Now, that is common in all kinds of warfare. Is it good? No. Is it necessarily excusable? No.
Right.
But it happens, and there are experts that I'm trying to find one particular interview. I can't find it. I've been trying to do some keywords, because I have collected 16. I have a group of 16 tabs on my Chrome, and I created a group of SA and rape debunkings of those allegations. Electronic Intifada has covered it. You remember Breonna Joy covered it. She got a lot of flack for that. She got let go from the Hill and all this stuff. And we have a thing with Crystal Ball and Breaking Points. And I have a whole collection of these, right?
Yep.
So the problem here is that that they have manipulated it to say that that there's all this, systematic sexual violence, and it's believe all women except when Israel, and these people came forward and there's forensic evidence. The thing is, whenever they say there's forensic evidence, they never actually provide forensic evidence.
Yeah, what is it?
Right. Like, by the way, I'm still waiting for the Beavis baby strangulation forensic evidence. We're never going to get it because it didn't happen. Right. So as time went on, and I was feeling more emboldened in the idea internally that these things simply did not happen. And having known how this is weaponized and used in the United States against black men, I thought, well, here we go. This is the same thing over and over again. And then one time I was on TikTok in a Palestinian live, and finally, after months and months, I said, I don't want to offend any of the women here because, but I'm just going to say this flat out. Like, this stuff did not happen. And every single woman on that live, Jewish, Palestinian, whoever it was, said, Jabber, you have nothing to apologize for. Okay, you're never. Maybe it's a say word for. Yes, thank you. I definitely will. Yes, thank you. See, I have a feeling I'm probably been shadow banned a few times for saying some things that are
probably.
Anyway, so I finally. And they all said, you have nothing to apologize for. You're spot on with your analysis. And because it's all based on, it's not just, I don't just sit here thinking these things up. People ask me, like, what gives you the credibility? I'm nobody, nothing. But I defer to the experts, and I watch and I evaluate. And look, Nora Barrows Friedman is Jewish. She's one of the co-hosts of Electronic Intifada.
Yeah.
She rolls her eyes at this. There's not one woman that has ever looked at this critically and called me a great denier. But I can tell you right now, I have old summer camp friends and childhood friends and friends in LA who have no problem calling me that, because they are willing to just take whatever is spoon-fed to them. So all right. So I know I've been yapping. Do you want to cut in for a second?
Yeah. So you are right. When we say believe women, let me just be clear. When we say believe women, it absolutely means you believe when they tell you that something transpired, right? Absolutely 100%. I believe you. You don't have to justify anything to me. And then the very next step in that process is to investigate what actually did happen, right? It's a very different thing to dismiss someone and then investigate from a negative position, right? And that's what oftentimes happens, or there's no investigation whatsoever. The idea is that you believe it happened in order to investigate, right? You don't believe it happened in order to be judge, jury, and convictioner. Like, that's not it. It's not, I believe you, so this person is automatically guilty. It's, I believe you, so there's going to be an investigation so that we can, in fact, confirm exactly what happened. Like, that is what it's about. And because so often we are not believed, there's never an investigation. Before the police will investigate, folks, they must believe that something has happened. So when we say believe us, we mean believe us so that you will investigate. That's what we want, because too often it doesn't get investigated. So 100%.
And by the way, going forward, Dani, any time from here for the rest of our natural lives that we know each other, you can always just go, hold on, let me cut in, or time out, or give me the sign.
No worries. Got it.
Anytime. Okay. Because sometimes I need it. So, the problem, based on to what Dani said, is that police men are preternaturally disposed towards not believing. And that's why we don't see these cases reach the criminal justice system.
100%.
And so it would be like during the discovery process, the judge goes, okay, present your evidence that you have in discovery, or what you think is evidence, present what you have, and then be like, all right, great. Well, that's pretty convincing to me. Let's just throw him in jail.
Yes.
Right?
Nope.
Or let's just convict. It's insane. So somebody mentioned the GoPro video. This is a classic example of people telling you what they want you to see and infer based on very shoddy evidence. So let me give you one example. There's one case where this woman, her pants were down and her legs were bloody. and there was blood around her, they said around her genitals. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you think that that would hold up in any court of law as being evidence of anything,
No.
okay? They were at a music festival. I go to music festivals, folks. You know what I wear at music festivals? Loose clothing, comfortable clothing. Do you know that? And I guarantee you, if I did a simulation, okay, which I'm tempted to do just to mock the ridiculousness of this, right? I was thinking the other day, I'm going to have a friend take me out in the field, and I'm going to wear sweatpants, and I'm going to have them drag me 10 feet. And you're going to see my sweatpants go right down to my ankles, okay?
Yeah.
It is absurd to assume that because someone was dragged in a obviously chaotic situation, where, by the way, a lot
Yeah,
of
Cam said, be careful, we just got this account back.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, I got banned a week ago. So
You just got this account back?
yeah, it was banned for 7 days. So they're like, easy, Jabber.
Okay. Right, but there's no, what you saw in that stuff is not evidence of anything. I'll just say that. Okay.
Yeah.
It is just whatever.
Yeah. So here's what Jabber is saying, right? Folks, listen. When people talk about the things that have happened on the side of age group, right? It's important to understand. So I'm this way about everything, not just this subject. So let me just say this. I am very careful when I'm shown even like a 30-second clip of someone saying something. I want to see the other stuff that was said before that and after that. Why? Because I understand that it is so easy to manipulate what things look like and what they sound like. And I'm going to give you a prime example. The Democratic Party did something really shitty with regard to Donald Trump. Do you remember when Donald Trump was talking and he said he made reference to a quote unquote bloodbath? Do you remember that? And the Democratic Party took that and tried to make it seem as if he was threatening violence to the country, but he was literally talking about the auto industry and what would happen to the auto industry. That's an example of manipulation. That's an example, right? Context matters 100% across the board. And so that's the whole thing. And so the point is, you can't just take one picture and think that you have the entire story. You can't, right? And so I think it's important for people to understand. I also look at one of the things I ask myself, Jabber, see if you do this as well. One of the things that I ask myself when I'm looking at something, especially if the thing that I'm looking at is inflammatory, right? If the thing that I'm looking at is inflammatory, I ask myself, who benefits from this? Who are they trying to make me mad at? And who benefits from it? Do you do that, Jabber?
Yes.
I do this, especially with headlines and all the things. Yes. Yeah.
And I know this was triggered. And again, I apologize. I know. I'll just leave it at that. Yes, it is. And I guess I've also been listening to female friends of mine, or through TikTok and everything, who have been reading the UN report, and we've been doing it with a very sort of analytical, detached, critical eye. So I do apologize, and I didn't mean righteous to get anybody upset. And anybody here, I did not mean to upset them.
Yeah, no, I think that they know that you didn't mean to do that.
Yeah,
so
and we know, where I'm getting. You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So this UN report, came out last March, and they had these I won't say what they were, but they used the term reasonable grounds. And you mentioned reasonable grounds when it came to the war crimes yesterday, right?
Yep.
Now, in some cases, we know that he committed war crimes, right? But when the UN says reasonable grounds, and it's important because you're going to have people who are going to get in your face and say, well, what about the UN report about SV?
Yep.
And what they said about reasonable grounds. Well, reasonable grounds is not evidence. And that was a fact-finding mission. That was like not even discovery.
Yes.
Okay. And the people that they spoke to during that fact-finding mission were all Israeli sources. They also looked through 60,000 hours of video, and they found no actual evidence of anything. So when they say reasonable grounds, it's probably because people are showing them pictures like the one I described, or that scenario that I described, which was my main point in bringing it up, and saying, hey, this is. And so when they see what they're going to say about it, they probably say, no, we want you to say there's reasonable grounds. and convincing information, right?
Yeah.
Convincing information is not evidence.
Correct.
So what really raised my ire this morning, and yes, I will wrap this in a moment, is that this report, which is on the heels of us seeing actual video of Israel, gang violating a prisoner, and a lot of these things falling apart, and all these soldiers that don't want to fight now, and then the Daniel Edry young man, 24, who took his own life the other day. It's all starting to come apart, and when a lot of these stories come out, Israel will come back with, like, they'll revisit this story and they will repackage it and repurpose it. And so I guess my assumption, again, this is not I know this is heavy, but a lot of us have been sitting with a lot of this stuff for months. And so I guess we've become a little desensitized to it. And I'm glad I'm getting these comments, because I have to remember that it's new for a lot of people.
It is very new for a lot of people
to understand. So
yeah.
I appreciate the comments. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
so,
it is. And I think that this is the part. So when you are really into something, a particular subject matter, and you are into the details and the nitty gritty of it every day, it is very hard for the average person who isn't as deep into that information. If all they've seen is whatever NPR and BBC says, right? That's not even as detailed as what you're talking about now. You know what I mean? And so I think that that's the reaction that you're seeing from people in the comments.
Totally understandable.
Yep.
I just want to acknowledge it. So thank you.
I appreciate you.
So,
yeah.
And so when you see the electronic intifada reports, if you do, and I will put this on I know a couple of people joined my Discord yesterday. You're probably like, there's nothing here. I know. I need a little help with that. I'm going to start putting stuff on today.
Phantom will help.
You'll see that they break it down. And of course, if you're not comfortable, I get it. But also, they're describing things. It's also difficult for them, because they're describing things that are described but didn't happen. So they sound awful and horrific, and yet they have to talk about them because they have to show how it's been, right? These stories have been crafted, and it's that they're not true. So it's like this. That's why it's so difficult also to talk about this stuff, because it simply, it didn't happen, and there's no evidence. So this morning when this came out, it was like another attempt to kind of, pull people away from a lot of these other truths. And it's tough. It's really difficult. And look at the reactions we're getting. This is a good example of, like, they're weaponizing this so that they have all of us saying, well, but I did hear about those allegations, and they are a T group. So, if they did that, and I have no reason to believe they didn't, and oh, by the way, I'm working a job and I have kids and I have a family, I don't have time, like this jabber guy, to watch an hour video, right?
Yeah.
About it on electronic. Like, I totally get that.
Yeah.
But there's constantly these efforts to, like, pull people away from all this stuff, and it's really difficult. So
yeah, it is really difficult, but let me know, send me your availability for the next couple of days, and let's carve out an hour. We'll hop on a Zoom, and we will make things happen. I'm excited.
That would be great. That'd be great.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Jabber.
All right. So you want to drop me, and we'll go, and you'll continue, and I'll just listen.
Sure. Yeah. And then if you want to come back up, let me know. Awesome. Thank you, Jabs. I want to address something that was said in the comments before Jabber joined. Hey, Eli. And so let me just say this. So Sandra, okay. So yep. And I see you're commenting again. So Sandra, I want to go back to something that you said, because we were talking about Christianity, and are you under the law or are you under grace, and all of these different types of things. And Sandra, you said Matthew 5:17 in the New Testament says Jesus did not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. Well, then you would have to go further, Sandra, and you would have to go to Matthew chapter 22, right? And then when you go to Matthew chapter 22, you would need to go down to, let me get you to the verse. You would need to go all the way down to verse 37. Actually go to 36. Matthew chapter 22, verse 36. And it says, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Since we're here to fulfill the law, right? He says, which is the great commandment in the law? Verse 37, Jesus said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. Verse 38, this is the first and great commandment. Verse 39, and the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And here's the one, Sandra, verse 40, on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So when you say that Jesus came to fulfill the law, not abolish it, he just told you what the law hangs on. The law hangs on you loving God with all your heart, with all your mind, right? And then loving thy neighbor as thyself. Love is the law under Jesus Christ. So it goes all the way. It just gets rid of all of the other things. So D-Light, you're going to be blocked if you keep spamming my comments. Don't come in here promoting something on YouTube, D-Light. Don't do that. You will be blocked if you continue to do that. So I'm just, this is the point that I'm making. Thank you, Cam. So this is the point that I'm making is you can't pick and choose. The bottom line is Jesus said, you are no longer under the Old Testament law. Jew and Gentile are the same. They are equal. Everyone lives under grace. And God does not have favorites. So if you go to Matthew 5, you got to come all the way to Matthew 22, verses 36 through 40. It doesn't matter if they're the same people. It doesn't matter who the Israelites are or aren't. It doesn't matter who they are or who they aren't. The law is still the same. And the law under Jesus Christ is love. First, love of God. Second, love of your neighbor as yourself. Do you want to know why so many people can't fulfill the second commandment? Do you want to know why so many people can't love thy neighbor as thyself? Because they don't love themselves. Because if you loved yourself, you wouldn't spend so much time tearing down other people. If you loved yourself, you would not spend so much time tearing down other people. People who love themselves, they don't want to hurt anybody else. People who love themselves don't want you to terrorize people. People who love themselves have no need to build concentration camps. People who love themselves, they're not trying to take away Medicaid and SNAP benefits from people. Just so that we are clear, people don't love their neighbor because they do not love themselves. Period. I'm telling you guys, anytime you want to talk Christianity with me and you want to talk Bible with me, we are going to talk about it. Well, scared goats, come on up here and tell me why that's completely wrong. I just invited you up. Come to the panel. He did already, Veronica. I mean, like, folks, listen. You're welcome, DJ Monkey. Folks, I don't know how many other ways I can say it and be clear about it. Hold on, I gotta make sure I got these kids' food right. I'm multitasking as usual. Okay. I need. And definitely not that. What? Sorry, y'all, but that's not happening either. Hold on. Yeah, you are catching it live, Robert. Belle, you finished your shower and got dressed for me? Okay, love you, mean it. Okay, I needed to make sure, sissy. Try to make sure the children get ready for all of that, right? Right. And that's the point, right? Is the audacity to use scripture to justify hate. And we're not doing that in this space. And so here's the thing, I am never going to tell you. So here's what I don't do. Here's what I don't do. What I don't do is tell people, oh, your religion is wrong or Christianity is fake or all the stuff that lots of people like to argue. You want to know why? Because I learned a long time ago when I was neck deep in church that you don't have to argue the Bible. Mila Ann, stop screaming. You don't argue. You don't argue scripture. You don't argue love. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do though is if you tell me that Christianity is your religion and Christianity is the reason you believe the things you believe and you support the things you do, then I'm going to 100% hold you to the standard and the principles of Christianity. And Christianity means to be Christ-like. So we're going to have a conversation about how much Jesus you see. I tell people all the time, show me the fruits of the Spirit in Donald Trump. Show me Galatians 5, 22 and 23. Give them to me. And then you tell me when he opens his mouth, when he speaks, when he puts something on Truth Social. I want you to show me the fruits of the Spirit. I want you to show me love and patience and kindness and gentleness and meekness. I want you to show me the fruits of the Spirit. You want to know why you won't be able to? Because he don't got them. What's up, Gia?
Hi, Dani.
Hey, what you got for me?
There's two things that I want to say. Excuse my voice. But thank you for shouting out the non-believers because I'm one of them.
100%.
And I do as much as I can to further humanity in this world. I don't need an entity to tell me to treat people well.
Right.
So that's the first thing. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Secondly is I too wrestle with the question of why we dehumanize each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I found a great book and I just wanted to put it out there for people that wanted to read it.
Okay.
And the title is Less Than Human: Why We Demean, Enslave, and Exterminate Others.
Mm.
The author is David Livingston Smith.
Okay.
And it's a very historical as well as well-researched book into humanity and why this continues to be a theme for millennia. Mm. We have always done this. So everything you said prior to Jabber coming up was absolutely on point. And there is scholarship out there that underscores everything that you said.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate
again, the book is Less Than Human: Why We Demean, Enslave, and Exterminate Others by David Livingston Smith. And I'm done.
I appreciate you very much. Thank you for the book recommendation. Yeah, I'm so excited about Jabber gave us a bunch of books yesterday. You gave us a great book today. Let me see. Yeah, and Senator, I believe that you believe his administration is pure hate. I just also want so Sandra, when you say Israel will never fall, I'm going to tell you that the Israel of the Bible is not the nation of Israel today. And understanding that and doing the reading to know, I mean, geographically, they're not even in the same place. There are many times in the Bible where the Israelites are referring to the 12 tribes of Israel, not a political nation. I just need for people to understand that they're not even in the same place. They don't refer to the same people. So, I mean, it's really important for people to understand this blanket thing of just because it's the same word. Do y'all want to do, okay, this is the thing that gets me. You want to take this thing about Israel never falling, right? from the Bible and the church that also gave you a white Jesus? I'm going to say that part again. You, what, baby? It's coming. I ordered. So I'm just saying. Yes. Sit down for me. So, thank you. Charles, that's so odd. That's really strange to come into a TikTok and talk about wanting to F me. That's strange. I mean, I could take it as a compliment, but I mean, I already know I'm cute. But that's just weird. This is why I don't tell people where I live, Charles. Just weird. So, I mean, I know that some people aren't going to like the things that I've said. However, what I would say is go and read it for yourself. Hey, Ashraf, how are you?
I am great. I'm great. How about yourself? How are you?
I am fantastic.
My name is Ashraf. I'm from Palestine, and it really attracted me with the word that the state of Israel, what they have today, is not the state what they have in the Bible, and that is absolutely true. I was amazed to see a really and truly an American talking like that, because it's really to people understand these things,
Yeah.
A lot of people, they've been deceived. Yes, they've been deceived by those words in the Bible, which is, I hold much respect for all religion,
yep.
But, they stole those verses and those words, and they say that is the state of Israel is the state of David and Solomon, but it absolutely has nothing to do with David and Solomon and Jacob and all those great people that they really truly lived at that time, because they don't have anything to do with them, Yani. Like you just said right now, I heard you also saying, if just give me one an article or one word that Trump says about the law that Jesus preached.
Yeah.
He doesn't do none of that, and he's claiming that he's a Christian. So a lot of people, they claim that he's a Christian. They have nothing to do with Christianity. A lot of people, they claim they are Muslims. They don't have anything to do with Islam. And the same thing with the Jews.
Hey, Mila, girl, stop fighting. Sisters, I have sisters over here. Ashraf, hold on one second. Mila, hey.
No problem.
Yeah. So this is. No.
And I was very surprised, really and truly, to see a life like that. Really, I've been in TikTok for like almost 2 years. I haven't seen an American accent. I live in Palestine. I learned my English in Palestine, and so I increased my English learning through TikTok over these 2 years. I have been sitting on TikTok and listening to, but I never really and truly, for those 2 years, I never seen in American Christians. You are a Christian, right?
Yeah, I was born and raised. I'm from the South, born and raised as a Southern Baptist, like neck deep in church. And part of the some of the most challenging work I've ever done is to deconstruct and to figure out what does and doesn't sit right with my soul, what does and doesn't sit right with my heart, what do I believe actually resonates with God, right? And so there are so many things that just don't get, and then just understanding, like to go and find a map from biblical times, you will see Israel's not even in the same place. Like the maps that we have today are not the maps of where we all existed, hundreds and thousands of years ago. And so people just don't. It is scary to do, like, so because there's. Go ahead. Oh,
this is the absurd. See, this is the absurdity. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. the absurdity of their claim of that land. Like, okay, there was a group of people called Jews 2,000 years ago. They were living in this land when Jesus were here, peace be upon him. And then God scattered all the Jews all over the world. And then you want to come back after, I don't know who become a Jew and who doesn't become a Jew. You come and claim in my house, my land, my history, my everything that I know,
Right.
that God given to you that land. It
Right.
is like a crazy, you know. Yeah, a European guy,
Yeah.
from Ukraine or from Poland or from British, from all over Europe, and he came to my country claiming that this land has been given to me by the creator of the heaven and the earth. I'm like, man, are you out of your mind? You crazy?
So you know what I have said to
Come on, man.
people got mad at
This
me.
is what really and truly trying to learn and understand.
Yeah, it's this idea that yeah, I will tell you what people have said. People got mad at me because I was talking about why so many countries don't like Americans. And and I was talking about the fact that, when we go into the Middle East, right? And I'm a veteran. And I said, can you imagine being someone born and raised in the Middle East, right? Palestine, Iraq, wherever, and having an American come and tell you that your God isn't the real God. And I said, can you just imagine? Because, like, for me, that's going to be the God, Allah, that has saved my family. That's going to be, the God that has how are you going to tell me that my God isn't real? You don't get to tell me that. Like, based on what? It's just, I don't know why people think that they have the right to do that. It's beyond me. So, and the more that I've learned,
religion debate is the hardest debate you're ever going to very much have with a person
Yes.
that really and truly, it doesn't have much knowledge of history. Because if you don't have knowledge of history,
say that.
background of what happened what happened back in the years, you're not going to understand what really and truly the word of God, either in the Bible or in the Quran. Because the Quran, let me tell you something about the Quran. Quran is a very concise verses that indicates to a certain incidents in a very concise words. So not anybody just going to come and open the Quran thinking that he's just going to be able to understand everything God is talking about.
Right.
God represents himself in the Quran that he's the creator, he's the maker, he's the provider, he's the sustainer. This is how he represents himself in the Quran.
Right.
And he talks about the children of Israel, what he has done for them, so many favors. I done this, I did this, I done that, I did this. Even to the point that I came to conclusion that the Jewish people, they have this belief that you're not gonna be a Jew except if your mother is a Jew. So I say to myself, even God conceded to their ideas, and he brought a person to tell them, here's a person without a father, so follow him, go with him. He's teaching you the right theology of Moses and Jacob. But some of them refused, and some of them followed him. Okay, and to us as a Muslims, some have been some words they have been corrupted, or they have been altered in the teaching of Jesus. Then God corrected it with Muhammad. He says, here's the true word. I'm not gonna be sending any more prophets until what? Until Jesus come back. We believe that Jesus coming back. Okay, so
say that part again.
Everybody just chill the hell down until just Jesus come down.
Say that part again, Ashraf, because there are so many people that don't realize. So one of my friends is a Muslim, right? And we were talking, and she said, "Do you know that Jesus is mentioned more times in the Quran than in the Bible?" She was like, Muslims believe that Jesus is coming back. Muslims believe that Jesus,
Yes, of course.
but there are so many people that they don't know that
Man,
here.
we have a verse. No, that we have a verse in the Quran that Allah saying about Jesus. Jesus, that is how he's talking to him. He say, Jesus, I am going to clean you from the disbeliever, and I'm going to take you up to me, okay, from the disbeliever.
Mhm.
And I'm going to make, here's the cat. And I'm going to make the one they believed in you, the one they believe they have faith in you, Jesus. I'm going to make them rise up to the disbelievers. Yani, he's talking about the Christian. He's not talking about us. See, my prophet is Muhammad. He's talking in the Quran
I got you.
about the people that they believe in Jesus. He's going to raise them to the day of the hereafter. They're going to keep them, and then he's going to judge between the one he did good and the one he didn't do good. For the Christians, this message is for the Christian in our Quran. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
But here, see, there is people, they really and truly, they don't understand verses, they don't understand vocabulary, they don't understand a lot of things, they don't understand history, they don't understand these things. That is where, Lucifer comes into a place and start playing in their heads and making them, believing on, like, if we Muslims, we want to try to analyze all Christians, and we want to analyze all Jews, and even I don't care if you believe or you don't. To me as a Muslim, I really and truly, even in the Quran, he says it loud and clear. You have your religion and have my religion. You believe whatever you want to believe, and I believe whatever I want to believe. But do good. What's really and truly what the Creator, we don't know the Creator. You and I, we don't never see Him. We never see Him how we create things.
Right.
We believe, we have faith. Faith, it is something, we have to do something good for humanity. To build this earth, the world, we have to come, like a Christian, we have to come we have to have something in common between you and I.
Yeah.
Like they be like blaspheming us or slandering us.
Yeah.
That they say that a Muslim wants to a Christian to pay jizya. Jizya is a part, like I'm a Muslim. I pay zakat, 2.5. You as a Christian, you have to pay in equal the same, so we can live together, you and I, in the same land. You pay jizya and I pay zakat. It is the same thing. Call it whatever you want. You want to call it jizya, you want to call it zakat, call it whatever you want to call it. But it is, so it makes you and I, to live under one government. It protects you and it protects me. Okay?
Right.
You right now, you live in any country, you pay taxes. And you pay more than 2.5%. You pay 30%, 40%, and you pay a lot more than the 2. You see what I'm saying? But people, they see these things where they really and truly misunderstand of certain verses or of certain things. They just want the cylinder. They don't come here in TikTok to really and truly understand each other.
To learn.
They go to TikToks and they start cursing each other.
Yes. So
No, they don't. They don't want to learn.
nope.
Yeah, no.
They just want to argue. They just want to scream at each other.
We have 2 different countries.
Yeah. I will tell you this. Let me say this. So first, I followed you.
Exactly.
I followed you because I would love to do a podcast episode with you so that we can dive in a little bit deeper to some of these things. But you said something that I really want to touch on. So the first time I dated an African gentleman, right? Things that I learned immediately was, oh my gosh, their knowledge and understanding of history was so much more extensive than what we get here in the United States, right? They're going to speak 4, 5, 6 different languages, when you come from, whether it's Africa, the Middle East, other places just have a better understanding and knowledge base of history than themselves a disservice by not, yes, by not learning the history of the rest of the world in order for us to know kind of how we got here. But that is why most Americans believe we're quote unquote the best, the greatest country in the world, because we don't know shit about any other country. Most Americans don't get the opportunity to travel to other countries. They don't know the history of other countries and the religions. Yeah.
Exactly, sister, exactly. That's why we were blessed right now. Even sometimes I call this TikTok, it is like an antichrist, but at the same time, I use that weapon to integrate with other culture from different world.
Yes.
To come together, to understand each other. See,
yes.
the best thing about the humanity is coming together
yep.
and understanding your feeling, your thoughts, your culture, the way you eat, the way you drink, the way. See, this is the good. This is the good thing about being as a human. We have the same hands, we have the same hair, the same nose, the same ears. Everything are the same. We're not different.
No.
We're no difference. But what really and truly makes us different. You speak a different language. I speak a different language.
Yep.
But that does not make us as a humanity as a whole as different.
No.
We're supposed to come together, love each other, work with each other, help each other, stand with each other. That is, see, even people they surrender Iran.
Yes.
I don't like to speak a lot much about politics and all these things.
Yeah.
But why they surrender in Iran? They don't want to see Iran as an independence, a creator of a Nero. They don't want to see it making anything. They want to see Iran like the rest of the Arab country surrounding Iran, bound down to the Americans.
Yeah.
They don't create anything. They don't make anything. They don't even Saudi Arabia with all these powers and all this money that they have. They cannot even make a chair. A chair, they cannot even make it in Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
So this is exactly what they want Iran to be. That's why they attack in Iran. That's why as a human, we need to understand these things, and we need to stand for the truth. It doesn't matter. Put the religion away, put it on the table, and stand for the truth.
Right.
So you can be able to be a human being, a full human beings. You have to have an independence mentality. If you don't have this independence mentality to think by yourself, for yourself,
yep.
and to see red and green, blue and black for yourself, you don't need nobody to tell you.
Right.
This red and this is green. No, you need to search for yourself. You need to work on yourself. I'm sorry if I'm just taking more time.
No, you're fine. You're fine. No, I will tell you this. So, I've had people that have said to me, I've had people that will say, things about quote unquote Muslim extremists, right? And the first thing that I say back is, have you ever seen Christian extremists? Because I have. Right? Any religion can be manipulated. Any religion can be made to be extreme by people. Any religion can be used for harm. That does not mean that is the purpose of the religion. The religion is it is your faith, and you believe what you believe. But at the end of the day, so this is what I tell people, Ashraf. I say, if we bring 4 things to every conversation, we will gain understanding even if we don't agree, right? And so that means that if we show up in every conversation with compassion, with authenticity, with respect, and with vulnerability, you and we can gain some understanding. I can understand more about you. You can understand more about me. And then we can, with that, see, when you understand each other, you're less likely to hurt each other. Most people don't understand the history of Palestine. They don't understand what transpired before 1947. They don't understand what's even happening right now. And without that understanding, they support things that cause harm. But when you have understanding, you're less likely to do harm. And that's the work that we have to be doing above everything else.
Absolutely, absolutely, sister. Absolutely. I agree 100% with you. I was very surprised, really and truly, like I said, from the when I first came out, to find from I've been for 2 years on TikTok, and I am really I appreciate your panels. I really and truly for your talking like that, you know.
Yeah.
See, representing the truth. It doesn't matter where is the truth.
No.
You know, if the truth with the Jewish people, Wallahi al-Azim, I swear to Allah, I will stand with him 150%. 150%. I will protect him with my blood. If he has a bit of a truth, if he has a bit of justice.
Yeah.
But what we have been going through, but what we have been going through as Palestinians through 76 years of atrocity,
Yeah.
slaughtering, displacement, and then the only sin that I found out that I have as a Palestinian is I'm living in a land where this person believes that God promised him and he's the chosen of the creator of the heaven and the earth. This is the only sin that I have.
Right. Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like,
I just said it earlier.
It's a mind blowing.
I said it earlier. I said, so are you trying to tell me that you believe that God has favorites? Is that what you're telling me? Because if you're telling me that God has favorites, I got a problem with that.
Come on now. What
Yeah.
do you mean God has some favorites?
Right.
No. See, in our Quran, I created you I created you in different tribes in order for you to come together and understand each other. The best of you is the best of you of mankind, not Arabs, not Chinese. He said the best of all mankind, the one who has more faith in the creator of the heaven and the earth.
Yeah.
See, our faith, this is how philosophy, I demonstrate the faith of our father Abraham. See, our father Abraham, when he was going to sacrifice his son, see, why that he was going to sacrifice his son?
Faith.
When he was going, Abraham, he was going to sacrifice his son because he has so much faith in his creator.
Yep.
To the point, he said, to the point that he was going to sacrifice his son, then God gave him a sheep to sacrifice instead of his son. To this day, to this moment, to this hour, who sacrifice sheep? We do it. As a Muslims, we still hold it to this ritual. We sacrifice sheep into this moment. Okay? See, walking the footsteps of Abraham and Moses and Jacob and Israel and Jesus and Muhammad, they all teach the same thing. To us, they haven't taught anything except the creator, to worship the creator of the heaven and the earth. See, the only difference between me and Christianity, really and truly, we agree on 9 points. We disagree on 1 point. This is the only 1 point I disagree with my Christian brother in faith. Only 1 point. And that 1 point is not going to make me an enemy between me and him. We're not going to make me fight him and try to analyze him or try to oppress him or try to exploit him or try to take him out of. See, my town right here is like my town is like 5 minutes away from Taiba, a town called Taiba. It is a Christian town. It's a Christian town.
Yeah.
When I go to the Taiba, it is like I'm entering my own neighborhood. I go there. I grab whatever I want. If I don't have no money, I told him, listen, I don't have no money today. I bring you the money tomorrow. And this is a Christian town. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We respect each other. We love each other. We hold the same being. We live in the same land. We hold the same principles.
Yeah.
There is no difference. I don't know this. I'm sorry to say this, but this Western ideology or Western world, they brought something really, really, really crazy to humanity. Really, they brought something really crazy, even to the point. One time I was sitting down and contemplating about, they put in the, I looked at the dollar. We have dollar here in Palestine, and I looked at the dollar and they say, "In God we trust."
Yes.
I'm like, what kind of God do they really and truly trust? And they have all these atrocities and killing from Japan to Germany to everywhere, to Sudan, to everywhere. They have a lot of wars. To Iraq, to Afghanistan, to Lebanon, to everywhere. I'm like, what kind of God they really and truly believe in? See, to the point I came down, I say the abbreviation of this God, in God we trust, is like in gold, oil, drugs we trust. That is what they do. That is what they trust, really and truly. Gold, oil, and the drugs. That is the three things. They don't believe in God, because God is a lovable God, especially the teaching of Jesus.
Hello.
Especially the teaching of Jesus.
Hold on, Daniela. Yeah, hold on 1 second. Thank you. Yeah.
Daniela.
Yeah. And so just to level set so that everybody understands what's happening in this room and the way that I do this space, right? We are, if you look up here, we are respectful in the space. We don't use slurs. We don't spam the comments. And we don't type in all caps. So even if we disagree, we have dialogue and discourse, and we do it respectfully, right? Because the whole idea in this space is to create and find understanding with each other, as much as possible, in the way that we are able to do so. So I just want to level set so that everyone knows what's happening. But Ashraf, I will say this: the thing that frustrates me the most about the United States of America is it talks a lot about God, and trusting in God, especially our Republican Party. And yet what I see in this country so much is the government choosing corporations, choosing business, choosing money over people, even children, even babies. I see them choosing money and power over people day in and day out, regardless of how much they talk about God, right? If your actions, what you heard me say earlier is, girls, stop fighting, please. What you heard me say earlier is very simple. Show me where you see the fruits of the Spirit in Donald Trump. Show me where you see, joy and kindness and humility and gentleness, forbearance, love. Where do you see those things? Because you don't. And so that's part of the issue that I have. So, yeah. You're free to hang out, Ashraf. I want to give Daniela a chance. Good afternoon, Daniela. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. What did you have to add to the conversation?
Well, I heard Ashraf speaking. Ashraf, are you a Muslim, sir? Ashraf?
Yeah.
Yes, Daniela. I am from Ramallah, Daniela.
Okay, so you're Muslim. Thank you. So you said, you talked all this peace talks and said the Christians, my brothers and sisters, you believe in Jesus. The thing is that what you're not telling the Christians, you don't believe in the same Jesus. The Jesus that you actually believe in comes back as a Muslim man to destroy all the churches and actually wipe out Christianity completely. Also, if we open your book, there's a clear verse that states, do not take the Jews or the Christians as your allies, therefore they are allies of each other, and you will become one of them, a non-believer. So when you come up and
Yes, absolutely, yes. When God told us, that is the thing is about when they misunderstood about these verses. When Allah says, "Do not take such a Jew and such a Christian as an ally to you as a believer of Allah, because those people they are in ally with each other." Why He told us this? Because throughout history, there was never ever any ally between a Christian and a Jew. This verse only happened. It started existing 150 years ago or 200 years ago. Okay, so He's telling us those they claiming they are Jew,
that verse is
and
in the
those
Quran.
Hold on,
they are
Daniela.
Christian. Hold on, Daniela. Let me explain it. Do not take them as a Christian. Do not take them as an ally to you. Those such a Christian and those such not all Christian and not all Jew. Yes, it does tell us, because this is as an ayah. It is a burhan, is an alama. It is a sign. It refers and indicates to something is going to happen. See, this is it validate how truthful the Quran is, because throughout history, tell me when a Jew and a Christian they were a friend. Never. They never been in. Never ever. They always have an animosity, hatred between each other, because Christianity, they really and truly they have the belief that the Jew they are the responsible for the crucifixion of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and for that they don't have any friendship with them. They don't like them. That is the true Christianity.
Okay, so hold on. I need to level set this conversation.
Until 1963, until 1963, when the Catholic Church in Roman, it exonerated the Jews from the blood of Jesus. But that is not going to happen. That is reality. That is history. And that is recorded. It's recorded in the Bible, and it's recorded in the Quran, and it's recorded even probably in the Old Testament.
Okay, so I want to say a couple of things before we go on in here. So Daniela, my I guess what I'm interested in is the point or the purpose in arguing about his faith as a Muslim.
I'll explain to you why. Because they have this tendency to say exactly the same talking points. Jews unalike Jesus. Any Christian knows that Jesus laid himself.
But until you came in, he never said any of those things.
I understand. But again, because I cornered him to a corner where he lied. Yet again, he lied and said, this verse came only 200 years ago. No, it didn't. It came the day Allah himself gave the word, because this is in your Quran. It's not in your Hadith.
But this is my question. But this is my question.
Thing is, they're not allies of the Christians. They're not allies of anyone. They're allies of their own selves.
But, well, so let me just say this. So I guess my question is, so for me, we weren't having a conversation about who Muslims are or aren't allied with, nor who Jews are or aren't allied with. What we were actually discussing was how all of us as human beings are similar to each other, how we are all one, and our differences in terms of our faith doesn't make us different in terms of being human beings who can create and have understanding with each other and coexist peacefully as human beings. And so that was actually the conversation. Sure.
Okay, so if you're religious, heavily religious, would you go by your faith?
Well, I mean, that's a hypothetical. Hold on a second. Girls.
You're good. My kids also.
Yeah, I've got two girls fighting. Girls, stop.
I have twins.
Yeah, so here's my thing. I think that people practice their faith differently. No matter whether they are heavily religious or not, they practice it differently.
Not in Islam. Islam is one way only.
Well, I mean, you're saying that, but I literally have a Muslim friend. So, I mean, when you say that, well, So again, when you say that though, hold on, Ashraf, hold on. One moment. Girls, enough. So this is the thing, okay? Is so when you say she's not following the book, that's you. Hold on, Mila, come here right now. Hold on.
Why are you lying to this lady like that? Ashwa? Aren't you done with your takia on every panel you go?
So, but here's my thing that I don't understand about this conversation, okay? Is so like as soon as I said, okay, listen, I have a Muslim friend, and you say, oh, well, then they're not following the book. So, but you make a lot of assumptions and groupings of people as if they what okay, so can somebody share with me? Hold on a second. Somebody share with me what was said while I was gone.
He was talking about Christians. Oh wait, right now?
Yeah, so it was
I told him, Ashraf, aren't you tired of topping on every panel and lying?
but why would you say that?
Because he has the tendency to act a certain way in front of other people, and then when he hops on pro-Israeli lives, he becomes who he really is, how he wants all of Israel, how he's not very peaceful. I just know him. I've debated him numerous times.
I am not very peaceful. Yes, Danielle. I'm not very peaceful with my colonizers. Of course, absolutely. I'm a very, 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 very hard-headed.
But this would have had to be your land to begin with for me to be.
Okay, but hold on. We are not. Wait. Ashraf, hold on one moment, please. Let me explain what was happening in this live, and let me explain what is not going to happen in this live. What was happening prior to here was an amicable discussion about yes, almost here, about history and about how different people practice religion and how we can absolutely still get around different things and the differences in historical and how much Americans don't know history. We don't debate here. The purpose of information here is fact-based information, not faith. I'm not going to debate your faith. I'm not going to debate his faith. I'm not going to debate my faith, nor am I going to allow anyone else to condemn anyone else's faith, because that's not what we do in this space. So we don't do gotcha moments. We don't argue about people. We're just not doing that. And so peace and love, he actually did. And I don't know how long you've been in here, but he absolutely talked facts. Jabber was here yesterday talking the same facts. There are just things that are what they are, period. Right? So
what facts did he say?
Well, we were discussing the fact. So when he came into the room, I was having a discussion about the fact that Israel today, as we know it, because we were talking about Christianity, Israel today, as we know it, is not the same Israel in the Bible, right? Not geographically, not. Sorry, what?
How can you prove that?
Because the nation of Israel today did not exist prior to 1948. Well, because it was established then. You and I both know this.
Actually,
but
so
hold on, can I?
Kingdom of Israel?
I'm going to finish speaking. That's what I am going to do. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the only person that has been in this live that has been rude or confrontational, Daniela, is you.
You're talking about my state.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't prior to that. You walked in. You walked into this room. You walked into this room in that way. You walked into this room in that way. I saw your comments before you ever joined my panel. You walked in being that way. And you have been that way since you got here.
Are you a Democrat by any chance?
I'm a person. That's what I am.
But you're against Donald Trump, correct?
So let me be clear. I have voted Republican and Democrat in my lifetime. My political view has nothing to do with this conversation.
But prior, you said Can somebody please tell me what Donald Trump has done that is peaceful and loving?
No, that's not what I said. I'll tell you exactly what I said. I said, show me in his words, in his tweets, in the things that he says, where you will see the fruits of the Spirit, which is Galatians 5:22 and 23. Because when you read his words, they are not there. Now, but that's not the point of this conversation. The point of this conversation is everyone was in here just having with different faiths, Christians and Muslims and Jews. There were people with different faiths in here having a very amicable conversation. And then you came in.
Oh my God, you guys are so soft this way. So yeah, you are a Democrat. I might have to say something. I'm American as well.
Okay, well, hold on first a second. You don't have to say anything. Nope. This is not your live. 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 And that's why you're going to go. You don't run shit here. I don't know what you thought was about to happen, but it ain't that. I can just tell you that right now. So I will just explain to you what you just did. You demonstrated exactly what other people talk about when it comes to your position. That's the problem. No, it's not typical leftist behavior. That's typical disrespect. If she wants to come up here and be respectful, then she can do that. If she's not going to be respectful, I will drop her ass. That's what will happen because this is my live. If she doesn't want to do what she's supposed to do, then she can take her ass on somewhere. I'm going to be very clear about that. I let her speak earlier. She kept interrupting. I asked her to wait. And then she wanted to put me in a box. Well, are you a Democrat? And are you against Donald Trump? What the fuck does that have to do with this conversation? Nothing. Nothing. You want to generalize about me, but you don't know me at all. Period. So, again, if Daniela wants to come in here and be respectful, she's welcome. If she doesn't, she can take her ass on somewhere else. It's that simple. Dominic, get the door, please. This is not hard.
Yeah, she's used to go to panels. They only just argue.
Yeah, we don't argue here in that space.
Exactly. We just want to have a civil conversation.
Let's start over.
Well, hold on a second, Daniela. He's speaking.
Each other, but she's never going. She's biased to her state.
He's criticizing me. That's not nice.
The whole way of life.
No.
I'm not criticizing you, Daniela. Well, I'm not criticizing you. I'm just describing.
Yeah, you came in wanting to argue.
That's it.
You came in wanting to argue and debate, and I told you that's not what we do here. So if you want, let me finish what I'm saying, Daniela. If your goal is to somehow prove that Ashraf or Palestinians are bad people or Israel is right or whatever, that's not what we're doing in this space. So
my whole goal is to ask why you allowed a man to sit on your panel and say there was no essays in the state of Israel by Hamas. Does that happen on your live?
Yeah, exactly. That's me.
You allowed that? Are you a woman's woman, or do you not believe that women got
Daniela, you can address me. I'm the one who said it, and I know what you're doing. And I know.
So hold on, Jabber. Let me handle Daniela. Since Daniela thinks she's going to come for me, I'll tell you what I am. Okay, I'm a fact-based woman. That's what I am. And so here's what I said on my live. What I said is believe women and investigate. That's what I said. You believe women. You believe women and investigate. That's what I said. And just for the record, if I want to let somebody sit up here and say the fucking alphabet for 24 hours, I can do that because it's my live. Now, if you don't want somebody to come up on your live and say something, then don't let them do that. But I don't know who you think you are to ask me what I'm doing. Do you understand that you don't get to ask me what I'm doing? Do you understand? Do you understand that you don't get to ask me what I'm doing? Do you understand that? 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 And don't say shit trying to get my live taken down. Nope. I'm going to do it. Listen, she's not going to talk over me, and she's not going to get my live taken down. I'm not doing that. You want to talk about G grapes and all of that? Take your ass to your live and do it. That's what you get to do. You done came up in here twice showing your ass, looking ridiculous. You ain't doing that here at all. I don't know where you are used to going, but you don't do that. And by the way, I will let anybody say whatever the fuck I want them to say on my live. You want to know why, Daniela? Because it's my live. That's why. Why did I let a man sit up here and say this? Because I let him. Because it's my damn live and I can. That's why. Don't like it? Put your finger on the screen and swoop your ass right on out of here. That's what you get to do. You don't like how I'm running my live? Put your finger on your phone and swoop your ass right on out of here. That's what you do. I'm not dealing with that shit. I don't know who you think you are. Not today. And you can say typical leftist behavior all you want. I give a good damn. I give a good damn. No, that is typical. Put your ass in check, kick you the fuck right on out when you don't know how to act. That's what that is. So maybe you not used to getting checked like that over here, but that's what happens right here. Shit. Acting sorry, y'all done made me curse and everything else, but I'm here to tell you, you don't come in here acting like that, thinking your ass don't stink. Your profile picture with your little mouth tooted up, it shows your whole nasty ass attitude. Came in here with a nasty ass attitude. Ain't nobody doing that. Sorry, y'all. That shit is absolutely crazy. Can you imagine? Listen. The absolute audacity. Why did you let a man... Girl, please. Sorry.
Yeah, because we mentioned the absurdity of their of them believing that God gives them my house. They don't want nobody to speak about that. They don't
Dominic
want
here.
nobody to mention even that.
Yeah, Jabber, she got mad because I told her.
I'm not saying anything except.
Right. So Jabber, she got mad
I mean,
because I told her that the Israel today is not the same Israel.
Yeah, and I'm going to give it right back to Ashraf, and I'll bounce. I wasn't sure if you knew her previously.
Hell no.
People in the comments okay, good. So I know some people are familiar with her, and they can apprise you in the comments. But yeah, she's horrific. She's been doing that. I met her. I mean, I haven't met her in person, but about a year and a half ago, your baby daddy, that Dave guy, is an openly bigoted pig. He hosts white supremacist lives. His prompts are disgusting, and he has a whole bizarre following. He kisses all the asses of these white tea women, and he thinks he's cool because he probably never gets laid, and he just is just disgusting. So he's galvanized all these Zionists, and he gets them on his panels, and then they go around and they try to troll. They're like Betar for TikTok. It's really sick.
Come over here.
It's really sick.
I don't know. I don't know her. This was my first time seeing her, but she came in being nasty in the comments about Ashraf, right? And I mean, yeah, I know you just met me yesterday, Jabber, but yeah, I don't get down like that. I just don't at all. Yeah. She can take that shit on somewhere else. No. And it's funny to me that you said he caters to all the white women. Because I literally almost said the caucasity of her ass, but she ain't white. But I literally almost said it because it's the same superiority complex.
Exactly.
That's what it is. And that doesn't go anywhere with me. That doesn't go, like I said yesterday, being listen, you don't have to like truth. Well, here's what I know is if I were judging people on my life today based only on their representation of God and what I believe God to be, which is love, Daniela's ass would be straight in hell. Because you were the least godly person on this panel today. The least godly person on this panel today. Just so we're clear about that shit. So I don't care Palestinian, I don't care Israeli, I don't care Iranian, I don't care from Iraq, I don't care. What I know is you didn't have not near fruit of the spirit or the love of Jesus, none of that, no. So thank you. And if I'm going to pick somebody to stand in front of, if God were to come down here right now and say, Dani, you can pick anybody that's been on your panel today, right? That represents my love and what I want for people, I would be picking Ashraf and Jabber. It would not be you. And if you are the representation of your people, shame on you, because you're not doing a good job. You're not doing a good job.
Notice how she brought up the very thing that I told you I was concerned about when it dropped this morning.
Yes.
That's exactly what I woke up and saw, and I knew that they were going to make the rounds and start talking about it. It's amazing. Anyway, I'll hand it back. Ashraf, my brother, you're the man. I just wanted to pop in because I knew I saw Danielle and I was like,
Yeah.
Love you, brother.
Thank you, brother. I don't know you, but you. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
So Ashraf Jabber was here yesterday. And yeah, and he has a ton of information. Hold on, there you go. And he was giving out a ton of factual information. And he's Jewish, by the way. Jabber is Jewish. And he talked about his own deconstruction and his own journey and finding out the facts. And all of those things. And he gave a great historical, because he came in, there was another Zionist up here, and he came in giving straight facts, straight historical information. And so that's how I met Jabber yesterday. So yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I'm an Ashkenazi from New York, Ashraf, and I've been in this fight for the last year and a half.
Very, very nice to meet you, brother. Very nice to meet you. You are more than welcome to my house at any time. I'm from Ramallah, Silwat. You can come to my house at any time that you want. There is no different. We have our brother that they live in Schedim, and you probably know that. They've been here for thousands and thousands of years. They are to us, they are the true Jewish people. They're the lovable people. They love all of humanity. I mean, you are more than welcome anywhere in Palestine. This is what I can tell you. I don't know what else to say for you.
Well,
you are a great person. It is not about all Jew. Yes, Allah in our Quran, we're not ashamed of our verses in the Quran. Allah tell us there is some Jew and some Christian and some hypocrites, and he talks about the Arabs. There will be more hypocrites of Arabs. He tells us all these things about to be careful, not to deal with. And those people that Allah describe it to us, they are shown very clearly in earth these days. They are shown very clear because in one of the verse, even he say, the nearest among them in love.
Yeah.
And nearest among them in love. And to the believers will though find those who say we are Christians, because amongst these are men devoted to learning and men who have renounced the world, and they are not arrogant. And when they listen to the revelation received by the messenger, they will see their eyes overflowing with for a recognize what the truth. That's just what they say about the Christians.
Yeah. Listen.
And it say
But
about
his
the Christians, some Christians, you will find them. You will find them. You know, there's these things that see. You cannot just come and take one part of the Quran. It is 6,350
pages.
verses.
Right.
If you just want to come and take one verse, exclude one verse, and you think you understand the Quran, this is completely wrong. You have to understand the whole book so you can understand Muslims and how they think and how they feel and how they perceive things. You see what I'm saying? We don't have problem with all the Jews. We don't have no problem with all the Christians. We don't have problem with anybody except the people who aggression to us and try to exploit us and oppress us. This is the only problem we have with. And she was talking about, you know, the Arch group in Hamas in Gaza and what they have done. It has been going for almost 76 years. It is not something. It didn't start in 7th of October. And like the sister, she doesn't like to talk about, you know, politics much, but just to clear things out, it didn't start in 7th of October. It's been for 76 years.
Listen, you know, let me tell you something. If I had a book, I don't. But let's just say I will as soon as they eat. So let me give y'all my time check. 2:20 is when I have to shut down to get them to. I have until 2:20. I just had somebody up here, Lala, and somebody was from Israel yesterday. What was his name, you guys? Oda. Anyway, he was up here yesterday. I don't determine who comes up here. It's the people who request to come up and converse. But let me just say this, okay? Ohad, thank you. That's who it was. See, y'all remembered. Let me just say this, okay? If I'm gonna give you a the way that I hear what you're saying, Ashraf. The way that I hear what you're saying is if Black people had a book. And in that book, it said, be careful of white people. Don't take them to be your friends. That would be wisdom. Historically speaking, that would be wise. Right? That would be wise. It's not, I'm just saying. And that's so it's not saying all of these groups of people are horrible, but if those groups of people continue to attack, if those groups of people are the people that do you the most harm, I would hope that my God would warn me. That's the way I hear that. Yes.
Exactly. That is what it is, sister. That is what it is. It refutes. Listen, I'm gonna be real honest with you. The Quran refutes all their teachings, all of their teachings. That's true. That's why they hold so much animosity toward the Quran and the Muslims, really, because it refutes all their teaching, all their evil teaching. Even in their teaching, like usury, usury, it is not allowable to give a Jew. You're not allowable to give a Jew money and take interest if he's a Jew. But if he's a goyim, you're allowed to steal him. You are in interest. See that in the Quran, it tells us about that. It tells us about those things. Why are you discriminating about humanity? Why, if he's a Jew, you cannot take interest from? But if he's a goy, you can take his money. You can give him money on interest, and this is what they have in their teaching. Okay, so that's why really and truly this is the conflict. Even they say they are a secular state. Even they saying that they are a secular state, but they cannot hide. They cannot hide the theology teaching in that land. They cannot hide it.
Yeah,
they cannot hide it really and truly. And they even want us right now as an authority, and they want all the Arab world right now to recognize them, as a Jewish state, not as Israel. No, they don't want that. They want to oppress people, to recognize them as a Jewish state, the only Jewish state in the world. See? And this is a very conflicting and how can you say it? It is like against our belief.
Right.
It is against our belief. You're going against our belief automatically once you say us to recognize you as a Jewish state given by the creator of the heaven and the earth, because it was given to you by the creator of the heaven and the earth. Because God, when he promised Lut, when he tells Lut and Abraham, enter to the Holy Land, the land that I blessed. This is what he says to Abraham and to Lut. The land that I blessed for the whole world, not for a certain group of people,
for the whole world,
for the whole entire world. Not even the word. We have two words in the Quran: the jinn word and the human word. He said for the both words, he blessed it for all human beings, not for a certain group, not for Ashraf, not for this. He blessed it for all humanity. So we're not going to be able to recognize it for a certain group of people. They coming and claiming that is the biggest conflict and the big mistake. A lot of people, they really and truly don't understand.
Right.
When Israeli, the Zionist entity asking for other country to recognize them as a Jewish state.
So I will tell you this. I don't know how familiar you are like with our Bible over here, right? But what a lot of people don't realize, one of the reasons why I think I can relate to and understand what you're saying is because I watched our Bible be used by a particular group of people who wanted superiority, who wanted power, who wanted control to justify chattel slavery, right? When you have white men in the history of this country read you Bible verses before they beat the skin off your back, it's the same thing. And so that's what people don't get. And I think the reason why I don't have a hard time understanding what you're saying to me is because I have seen what happened in this country with the use of Christianity, with the use of religion, right? And so I'm just saying, listen, Daniela ain't gonna ever run shit up in here. She might not want to come back. And any of her friends too, because I will handle all of you all the same way. But when you say, they want you to acknowledge them not just as Israel, but as, the Jewish. It's as if they want to be superior, and which is what white people wanted to hear. And so I'm just saying, it doesn't. It's not far-fetched to me, right? It's not far-fetched to me. And all I'm going to say is, I've said this before. I think that mankind always has the capacity to mess up or manipulate or misrepresent whatever chosen religion they believe in, right? So at the end of the day, the thing that I have to go on is my inner wisdom, right? What? Yeah, girl, I got you. Hand me your cup. And here's what I mean by that, right? So Christians, we call it the Holy Spirit that resides within you. Some people calls it your instinct, your gut, your intuition, your sixth sense, whatever you call it, spirit, whatever you call it, right? But that's the thing that we have inside of us that helps us when the powers that be, that gets to write the books, that gets to write, it's the spirit of discernment. That's what we have. And here's what I know is I'm listening to you, Ashraf, and it doesn't matter. What I can tell you is I can discern where the spirit in which you come. I knew from the moment Daniela hit this live the spirit in which she came. Same thing with forever, right? Yeah, girl, I got you another one right there.
Absolutely, sister. This is the clean and natural free will. We call it a free will. You have see the creator of the heaven and the earth. He created us different than all the creatures on earth. He created us with a free will. We have the choice. We have the ability to choose between right, or we have the ability to choose to do anything we want. He does not interfere in our choices,
right?
Because in our belief, we're gonna be held accountable for everything that we do. Everything that we do, we're gonna be held accountable. So we were created to free, completely free. Either you want to believe, you want to disbelieve. It is up to you, okay?
Right.
So when we have this kind of a human beings with the completely free will, completely has the freedom to think, to discern, to perceive the truth from false, he will be able to do it by himself. He will be able. But once you have a lot of social media controlled by certain group of people, when they have a certain ideology or certain propaganda they want to insert in people's mind, this is where exactly you become a slave to the system. Once you're a slave to the system will be thinking for you, doing things for you. You'll be waiting for the system to tell you where you are going and where it's going to happen, because you really and truly you're not using your instinct, what God created you with.
Right.
He created you free. He created you completely free. He does not interfere with faith. It does not interfere with your faith in life. You make your own faith.
Yep.
Either you make it a good or you make it bad. There is no third in it.
Right.
Either you make it a good way, and you exactly. I'm sorry, Ani. My English is not that fluent to
You're doing great.
describe everything as I wanted.
You're doing great.
Thank you, sister. Thank
And
you.
I will tell you this, for the person in the comments that asked about, yeah, I got about 10 minutes. I keep pushing it back because I know how long it takes me to get there. Yeah, he's doing great English. But let me just say this. For the person who asked Ashraf, what does he think happened to the Christians in Congo? Let me just say this, okay? I'm going to just be really clear for everybody so that you understand what I'm saying to you. I am not sitting here condoning violence towards anyone. I'm not condoning it. What I will tell you is that I understand it, especially in defense of your own sovereignty, your own autonomy. I don't condone it. Listen, do y'all know how many times I hear people talking about, well, what about them rioters and those looters, and talking about Minneapolis after George Floyd? Let me tell you something. I don't condone it, but I absolutely understand it. I understand people get tired of watching their people taken, just wiped out. Wiped out, and I'm not responsible for what another group of people does. Just because, listen, I'm not responsible for everything that every biracial woman does. You're not gonna blame me for every other light-skinned woman out there. No, you're not. I am separate. So again, we're not doing tit for tat. And what about this that happened? I am so tired, and I'm just gonna be 100% with y'all right now. Some of y'all might be mad, but it's gonna be okay. I still love you anyway. I am so tired of hearing Christians talk about being persecuted. Let me tell you something. Most of the time, Christians wouldn't be persecuted if you would mind your damn business. Stop trying to colonize everybody. Mind your business. Don't worry about where people pee. Don't worry about how they pray. Don't worry about who they love. Don't try to put your Bible in their schools. Like, mind your business and nobody will be talking bad about you. How about that? You don't see nobody persecuting Buddhists. You want to know why? Because they mind their business. How about that? Nobody is persecuting Christians. Nobody's going around looking for y'all unless you are already somewhere you ain't got no business being. And then don't be mad because you F8'd and FO'd. And I don't condone the FO part. I'm just saying I understand it. I don't know any other way to say this. I don't know any other way to say it. Nobody is persecuting Christians. I know a lot of Christians that I love, that are kind, that are beautiful, that are everything, and they mind their business. I'm just saying.
A lot of things that happen in history, really and truly, that is where all the twisted and distorted learning of history and where happened on purpose to destroy. To me, everything that happened, all the wars that happened, all the things that really and truly happened in history since Constantinople, like in what happened in Constantinople, or what happened in 1054, the division between Christianity and Europe, and all that things that really and truly happened, it was some other forces wants to destroy the true teaching of the Abrahamic religion. This is what it is. There is a forces. Christianity is an Abrahamic religion. A Jewish is an Abrahamic religion, and Muslim is an Abrahamic religion. We all came. If you want to come under one umbrella, it is very simple, very easy. We can live together as beautiful as any flower in the field. But there is other forces in life that we really and truly we need to recognize those forces, and we need to pass that trial. It is a trial. Life to us is a trial. It's a test.
Right.
That is really and truly. It comes up to how long we're going to live. You and I and anybody. Where is my mom? She's dead. She died. Where's my grandma? He died. You know, we're going to live 60, 70, 80 years. But how much good deed are you going to accumulate? That is where it is going to take you in the hereafter. Bad deeds, you're going to be responsible for your bad deeds.
100%.
Each and every human being on the face of the earth is going to be held accountable for what he did.
Right.
Your mama, after you turn, a mutual, after you become a grown man and understanding right from wrong, you're going to be responsible for every action that you do. And that's why what I'm trying to say, I tell people to not to follow blindly anything that you hear in TikTok or in the newspaper or in media, and carefully search and ask for people that really and truly have the knowledge of the word of the Creator. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to die and we're all going to face our fate. So you have to be very careful. Yeah, that is what it is. Even if you believe in Jesus, you believe in Moses, you believe in Buddhists, you believe in Hindus, it doesn't matter what you believe.
No.
What really and truly matter, it is your conduct and your deeds, and how much good you do and how much bad you do. Nobody's perfect. I know we're going to be. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect except the prophets. They are the only one perfect. And actually, some of them they did some little mistakes here and there.
But you know what? That's the journey, right?
Yeah, it is a journey. It is a journey. It is a journey. It is a journey for something eternal, something better, something greater, something better for. We have to be thankful that we were given that chance to have a better life, a greater life. Yeah. This is what we have to be thankful. It doesn't matter in what situation we really and truly we are. Either you live in the west, in the east, in the north, in the south. It doesn't matter where you are. Just be thankful for the chance that you have, the spirit, the soul, that you're going to have a chance to have a better life at the end of this life. And do good as much as you can, do good. That's it.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if it's a Christian, a Jew, and all these lies and all these propaganda that we hate this and we hate that. And no. We don't. We love all humanity. We respect all humanity. We respect all cultures, and we love to integrate with any group of people, any culture in the whole entire world. But the conflict, war, what happened in here in the Middle East, it is something. A lot of people they misunderstood this conflict. They think Jewish, they've been living here for those European Jews. I'm not talking about the Jews. They've been living here for thousands of years. Yes, we have Jewish that they live in 30 minutes away from me. They hold the Palestinian identification. They've been living here for thousands of years. They don't interfere with any politics. They don't have anything to do with any politics. They worship the Lord. They walk on the true Torah. They even hated by those Zionists. The Zionists, they don't even consider them to be as part of the Zionist entity.
So Ashraf,
and if you want to learn.
I have to take my grandbabies to physical therapy, but I will be back this evening. Okay, so you are welcome back at any time that you want to come back. I would love to have you. I want to say this. I think one of the reasons why I hear you and I see you so well is, Black Americans have experienced very similarly people misconstruing our history and who we are and not wanting us to know who we are. There's so many parallels to this. And so what I think is happening right now is that I think that there is a lot of things that are coming to the surface, so that a lot of wrongs will be righted. A lot of things that were hidden will be seen, so that we can actually create the type of world and society that we truly want to live in. And so when we talk about doing good, for me, people will say, well, is there really a heaven? Doesn't matter, because let me tell you what, I want to work today to create heaven on earth as much as I possibly can. And then for the heaven that awaits, it will be even better. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you so much, tremendously. I hope that you come back. And I'm going to go. I appreciate everybody. So I'm going to take these babies to
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you, sister, for letting me up. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed your conversation with you.
Yeah.
And definitely I will come back again, because I really and truly want to practice my English and pronunciation.
Come on back.
That is a very good life for me to do that. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. You guys have a great day.
Thank you.
See you.
God bless you, sister.
You
Bye-bye.
too, brother. All right, girls, we got to go.